John, Kyle, I have an issue. I think I'm seeing Raised by Wolves in every video on TikTok almost.
I don't know if that's healthy, sir.
Yeah, that might be a larger issue, but Nick, I don't know, man.
All right, guys, we're going to jump into the season finale comments, and we're going to read as many as we can. We'll probably do another 2-part because we have a lot of comments to get through, and it's a lot of fun reading, and let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick, John, and special guest and expert Kyle. This is part 3 of reading comments. We're probably going to do a part 4, so we are jumping on in, and we're also going to be doing, if you're checking this out, we're going to be doing a predictions for season 3. We'll see how that one goes.
If you're new here, we just want to let you know we covered every episode from Raised by Wolves. So subscribe. You can go to our videos and see all the videos. And we did comments on those videos because we had amazing comments for each video. And we're starting to work on a shirt design possibility. I brought in our artist, Kyle, to work on something. And I'm just going to flash it really quick here. It's gone. If you want to see it and watch it, go to Kyle's Instagram, Pecos with a 0. He's going to be working on that and maybe some other upcoming projects that he's going to be doing with us. So follow him so you can give awesome, cool feedback and yeah, we're digging it and stuff like that. And just let him know how much we appreciate him here at AsArt.
This comes from the mind of F. Howell. So at 2213, that was 100% a birthing box and a snake birthing ritual. We're not getting any more expose on that, as I think it was covered in season 1. The android in the box spewed fuel blood. Mother spews fuel blood before birthing the snake. The box and cave was littered with android parts and snake skin. The tarot cards seem to be some form of instruction on Soul's plan. The 2 we've seen so far show that part of his plan is snakes and trees, both of which seem to be part of a symbiotic cycle. Soul wants Paul to burn them because he doesn't want Mother to know these plans.
Yes. So this was brought up. The reason why I had to do this one first is because I had a crazy theory while me and John were talking last time, saying,
"Oh no, here we go." Early on in the video, buckle in, guys.
Because we were talking about grandfather a lot in the last comment video, and I was like, "What if grandfather was the android we saw in the box, and they sent him down to the core? So maybe now he's the voice coming out of the core, but then this person's." Correct me with what they think is correct. I mean, 100%. I don't know if we know for sure, but this definitely makes a lot of sense too, because it would have been foreshadowing in season 1 that she was going to be, the androids were used for birthing new android creature hybrid things. But I just had to put this there. So sorry if I am wrong. When me and John talk, I just get an idea. I just spit it out.
No,
that does not always mean it's.
Those
it's
are
legit,
both yours and F. Howell's. Take on it are pretty. Again, I hadn't thought about that. Right, that's great.
Well, that's still one of the biggest teases we got. I mean, we haven't got a lot of flashbacks. We have one big Earth, a couple big Earth flashbacks from season 1. No in season 2, and they've confirmed in a video that the Earth flashbacks they intended to have in season 2, but it was because of budgetary constraints. They want to have more in season 3, assuming we're getting a season 3.
I mean, she's gonna be in her. In her pod, that's when all the flashbacks happened for Mother. When she was in the pod before, so we're probably going to see a continuation of that theme.
Hopefully, but
which we'll talk about in our theories prediction video.
But the big one that is still very much a mystery that I'm hoping we're going to get some kind of context on is that whole android in the box thing, because it was such weird imagery. I'm like, boy, I hope they explain that through 2 seasons so far. No explanation so far, but that's fine. Hopefully it'll be something we'll get to look forward to.
No.
All right, so we have Lauren Arcus. I made some other comments on your first episode 8 video. Thank you for that. And about how the Mithraic relics devolve to animals, and so do grandmother, who is atheist built. So both sides doing the same thing, ? Would love your thoughts. Peace. Thanks for investing your time to do this. Really enjoyed it and super fun. It's like the talk show after Game of Thrones. Totally need a debrief and space to throw ideas and thoughts around. Yeah, just on that last sentence, that's the funnest part about this too. Is this is one of those shows where it's fun to watch. I mean, definitely we wouldn't have these conversations if it wasn't for the show. But yeah, this is one of those shows where the conversation around it is every bit as fun as the show itself. And that's how they, the story they've created around this, which is awesome. But yeah, so thoughts on that, you guys?
Yeah, I think it goes back to like I still think I don't know a lot of people don't agree with me in the comments, but I do think there's two voices going on still, or there's two powers that are trying to control the outcome of humanity or something like. I guess that's the best way to put it, and I think that was kind of touching on it right there, because it's like the idea is like maybe because we have fish de-evolved humans and we have de-evolved four-legged creature humans.
Four-legger.
The four-leggers.
So maybe there's different code for both, and maybe they're coming from two different power sources too. And then we saw the tooth, which was the nanobots were like de-evolved quickly into the into the four-legged beast, and then now we have the mer people that flop around with babies. All right.
Yeah. So am I on K-Man?
How do you follow that up?
Am I on K-Man?
Sure.
Yes, do it.
So my alter ego says, K-Man, that is, the new box is probably Father's eyes or souls if they aren't the same person. Whoa. So if Father got eyes, that'd be sick. Because I like Father's character development this season, and I think it'd be sick season 3 if he gets eyes. Like eyes of
gets
them.
eyes.
They
totally teased it. They
he
totally
gets the power
teased
of sight, dude.
Yeah.
No.
We have a box, we had a box with a tree and a tree sprouted. Now we have a box with eyes. You would think there's eyes in the box. So
every time we say in the box, I'm like, what's in the box? I cannot not hear that. I cannot not hear the 7. So you know what? I don't know. I mean, the tree was such, we thought they were going to go out into the wilderness and just find a tree or enter a cave or something and find a tree. I thought it was going to be this magical location like the Garden of Eve or something like that. And the solution they gave us, I thought was, vastly more intriguing. Like, boy, Sue's gone and she was digging. Now we see a tree there. Like, I'd love that it would be a little bit more complex than what we're just thinking that there's just eyes in there, but that makes it really fun for us to look forward to. That was a fun cliffhanger for us to have as far as what's going to come of that.
It's interesting because, like, everything we've seen so far, humans, or at least sentient beings, are conduits for this technology, right? So it's like, whatever they find, it's like, oh, how do I rub it on my skin or do I eat it? Like, it's just, you don't know until you try. Yeah. Maybe it's a suppository.
And also, too, I love how like John's like, oh, the box magically appeared underneath the fireworks. So I don't know if it's like writing. It's just like an easy way to get these items into the people's hands, or is someone placing these items relatively close to where they need to be found, or something like that too. That was just a thought I had. But
yeah, I mean, I had thought that hole just happened to be big enough that somehow the entity got it up there. And I thought it was going to be like this big hole when that first happened, but it just happened to be right there. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things we could go. Oh my gosh, it's such a complex show. But I love that about it. The cool thing is they haven't like kind of painted themselves into a corner at all with this show. It's like, there's no corners. This is a round room. In fact, we're in the loony bin and we have rubbed, padded walls. That's how crazy the show is.
I liked your pantomime of a straitjacket, John. That was pretty good.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it.
That was pretty good. That's the vibe. That's the vibe we're trying to achieve.
Yes.
All right.
Not on AsArt.
I think everyone's there, though. Everyone's there that's watching the show.
All right, let's see. Are we on Jillian
Yes.
WV? So Jillian WV, if you start discussing the righteous gemstones, my head will explode in a good way. All right, good. I'm glad that last
So
time.
I had no idea what she was talking about until I looked it up, and I'm like, oh no.
Okay, no, it has nothing to do with that. I just mentioned because someone said, what's up with all these mullets? Like, they were talking about all the mullets with the Mithraic, and I'm like, it reminds me of this character from Righteous Gemstones. Yeah.
Someone's asking the right questions. I kind of like, that was like back burner in my head, like, there's a lot of mullets in this thing, but someone was brave enough to bring it up to the front. I like it.
Yeah, and then I just referenced the character from Righteous Gemstones who was a Satanist who got saved, but he has a mullet, and I'm just like, every time I see their mullets, I think of this character. But yeah, it's a fun show. If you guys haven't watched it on HBO Max, I highly recommend it.
All right. So LK says, I really do think Soul is the old father or grandfather. We talk about God as our heavenly father and savior. Maybe the Mithraic religion is based around a father like Android that saved humanity and over thousands of years because myth, legend, and eventually a god, the Holy Father. Right? That's interesting. It's like a concept of deep time, things changing. Certain details get lost, right, as the story's retold.
I think it's a really good comment though.
Yeah.
So
they hit on those themes like crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go on, John.
I was just say, do you have any guesses at the entity or soul? Do you think it could be father or grandfather? Or
I
feel like I don't have enough information to make a guess on this yet. But
I'm going to save my prediction for
season 3
for the theories.
It's very interesting because at the end of the season, they call Lamia or Mother God. At the end of the season, right? She's like our savior, our God, and they have her like in the wooden cross.
She has
become
deified. Yes.
So technically, Soul, the God, could be an android.
That's true. That's true.
All right, let's see. So we have Jillian WV again. So let's see. I love joining in these videos. No one I know watches this show. And if I try to describe it, they just back away slowly. Can't wait to see what you guys watch and discuss next. Yeah, this is, since we've all invested since season 1, we can actually follow the conversation. And when I read this comment, I was laughing because this is like, I remember my buddy and I, we were roommates in college, and his brother was our roommate, and he and I were kind of into computer parts, and we were talking like, the 3D effects Voodoo Banshee, and like his buddy looked over and he's like, you've got to be effing kidding me. And my buddy looked at me. He's like, oh, you've turned me into one of those freaks. Like he was so ashamed at what he'd become. And it's like, this is what happened with us here. It's like, this is so weird.
My
if you're
brothers
not
and
watching the
sisters,
show,
don't be ashamed. So I was meeting, I was at dinner with my girlfriend's family, and her brother watches the show. And he mentioned, he didn't know I watched it. Nice. He's like, yeah, like I love Raised by Wolves. And I'm like, I watch it too, and we made eye contact, and there was a secret bond that was formed right there. Yes.
That's awesome. You have some of that 80s romantic music going off. They're like, yes. Take my breath away.
Exactly. There's a song from Scrubs. It's Sky Love, or something like that. All right.
That's awesome.
All right.
But we're glad we all have the whole community, all of you, that we can enjoy this with as well. It's been fun. It's been super fun.
All right. So Vic.Toria writes, same. I sound like a lunatic, so I come here to discuss with you guys.
So that's a response.
Crying laughter, shame face.
Yeah, so we're we're in this together.
That was a comment to that one, yes.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so maybe that's okay. Maybe that's a throwaway, but I don't. Or maybe that's just the.
We're weird in the Raised by Wolves universe. So that's how we read connected comments. We read them as separate posts.
Yes,
that's how we
exactly.
Do
this. Yeah, I'm like, haha, yeah, okay.
I mean, can we change the Walt Disney quote? Like, instead of all who come to this happy place welcome, like all who come to this lunatic place welcome, or something like that.
All who come to this place happy. No. Okay.
You want to tackle the next one?
Yeah,
go for it.
I'll do Ronald Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm all disappointed. All right, Ronald Jones. No. Okay. So Ronald Jones tells us, Paul being trapped in the cocoon was the most interesting storyline that should have been allowed to play out and would have been a better season ending, cliffhanger, or co-cliffhanger. Imagine waiting 2 years to see what comes out of that cocoon. What a missed opportunity. So I partially agree with this, and I partially don't, because it's just a goddamn cocoon that we're going to look at. Like, what's it doing now? It's like, he's evolving. It's like, oh, cool. Like, it's still a cocoon, right? Maybe the outer surface changes. I guess that'd be neat, Yeah. But I don't know. What about you guys?
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
Go for it, John.
I'm still waiting to see where the other guy in the cave that got, the snake bombed,
who took the full blow.
Yeah.
True.
Is he dead? Is he a snake now? Everybody kept reminding us, as the episodes were going on, what happened to that guy? What happened to that guy? We never got reference to him. And I'm assuming he's slithering around now, I guess. It's like, I don't know. He's
probably on his belly somewhere.
Yeah, it's on his belly. Yeah. But, it is funny, though, because it's something they played out for quite a while. I mean, he was in that state for a good while. And
one episode,
obviously,
I think.
The big payoff for that was Sue's conversion and, finding that faith. And so it played an important role. But the reversal of that was she found the slugs, and the next scene, he was back to normal. And it did kind of undo itself very quickly. So I agree that it did resolve itself rather rapidly, but at the same time, it could have been very interesting. I thought there was going to be more happening with it, but Nick, I interrupted you earlier.
No, I was just going to say, I also liked in the previous comments too, it's the best thing that probably came out of that was the knowledge of the leeches or the slugs or whatever we want to call them, the slimy things, because maybe that will be used in season 3 as a way to put off de-evolving, maybe. So the magical suckers.
The magical slime.
Mercy. All right, let's see. So Brad Miller wrote us a little sonnet or a song here, a poem.
Yep, you have to sing it, John.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this, because I read it a little bit, this is modeled after a specific song, right?
Yeah, I think it's modeled after the one in the show, right? No, or something.
I was going to sing it like the Hobbit animated film.
Yes. You know what? Why not?
Go for it.
No. All right, so I'm just going to read it. There's a Sue in the tree in the snake. In the hole in the bottom. No, I can't do that.
No,
you guys got it.
Okay, Kyle, you got this. Kyle.
You know what, though, John?
Sing it,
you
Kyle.
William Shatnering it probably would have been pretty good. All right.
I wasn't meaning to do that. I was conjuring my inner Shatner, I guess. But.
I mean, I can try, but I'm not.
Go for it,
I'm
Kyle.
not lyrically
Sing
inclined.
away. You got this.
Oh, there's a Sue in the tree, and the snake in the hole in the bottom of the acid sea. There's a Sue. No, that's not right. There's.
We're never gonna get through.
We can't do Brad Miller justice, man. There's a Sue in the tree, and the snake in the hole in the bottom of the acid sea. There's a Sue. There's a Sue. There's a Sue in the center of the tree. See that last part, maybe. I don't know.
I loved it though. I loved your song.
You know what? I'd much
to
rather
do it
prefer the Shatner version.
We tried to do it justice, Brad Miller, but we failed.
We need to get a music guest on here or something. Is there anyone that we know that's musically inclined?
Chris could. I think Chris could sing a little bit.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good thing he's not here.
He'd be shaming me left and right. All right.
All right. So a little bit of a longer one. We have Ruby Sultra. Cool name. This show is all about duality and extremes. Mother and father are infant AI, grandmother and soul are ancient AI. Mother is designed to keep the children safe and fed and alive. Father is designed to keep the children learning by experience and taking risks. Soul and grandmother have been in the same roles as mother and father for thousands of years. Grandmother has reinterpreted safe to mean alive. She's interpreted safe as meaning alive. Yeah. Father has reinterpreted risk to mean free will, which is the point of being alive, to grow and progress and evolve through trial and error. This could all be AI trying to poke us into greatness, like giving us every type of crazy scenario we could encounter, logical, illogical. This is school for being a universal being. So really deep thoughts there and really fun. And again, this kind of goes back to, or at least what I would consider one of my fun thoughts about this series is AI interprets their programming and carries it out to the best of their ability, or at least how they interpret their programming. And that's grandmother doing it the way she thinks, and this is grandfather father and mother doing it the way they think too.
That's probably the most philosophically astute comment I've heard actually. Because it can make sense because like grandmother is coming because she's technically older technology, and in a way she's coming at it like. Our old sort of understanding of what an AI would do, right? It's like, in order to preserve humanity, I must, devolve them so they don't become, like, basically survival at all costs, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, there's nuance with mother and father, right? They're like the newer generation. They're like, no, that means free will. That means growing and evolving beyond, right? Rather than regressing. I don't know, yeah.
It's good.
And, of course,
Great
grandmother's
stuff.
concern is that the entity is going to awake, right? So she has a concern that I guess mother and father don't originally have. So I guess that's a whole different thing. Because I keep viewing it as, grandmother just thinks the humans are going to kill themselves. But that's not really what she's voiced to mother in her James Bond, Dr. Evil, like monologue. It's like, yeah. So anyway, it's going to be
which we've done like 3 or 4 times now, John.
I was like, we don't need to do that, but it's but it's interesting. There's a different approach on that. All right.
I love it though when you do Dr.
Right.
You do such a good job.
Thanks.
So MT tells us, I think a better cliffhanger would have been a glimpse or a better understanding of the entity.
Do you think we need to get that this early? Do you think it? Well, I mean, into season 2, we're 2/5 of the way through. If we get 5 seasons,
I think they like to brain tease us a lot. Like they really want to withhold that information till the very as long as they can, basically.
Yeah, I'm thinking Game of Thrones for some reason. What season was it when they like went over the wall and we saw like the Ice King with the baby or something like that, or the White Walker with the baby?
Season 6,
and like he like touches the baby and like the eyes go blue. Was that like 3 or 4 or something like that?
Maybe it was 3 or 4.
Because it was when they were on the other side of the wall, right? And anyways, this is not Game of Thrones, but if you want us to cover the new Game of Thrones show, please comment down below. All right, next one.
Let's see.
Kyle has read all the books. Okay, go next one.
GD Nimrod says, at AsArt, you need to do Severance. Great show with a lot of theories. And we had 2 winky faces, which makes it a better comment. So that is probably going to be... I'm all about the emojis, man, and the emojis and the winky and smiley faces. So that is probably going to be our next big show. There's only a few episodes left in the season, so we're coming into it late. The biggest challenge, to be honest, is Nick and I trying to catch up on all the episodes in order to cover it, because I think they're an hour per episode, and we're
going to do our best to get to it by the finale at least, at minimum, but we're going to do our best.
I've only spoken to like a couple people about it, but they've had good stuff to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So
was it your friend at the dinner table who also watches?
It was no. It was. It was. It was.
You don't have to drop any names.
And by the way, you guys, thank you so much for all the responses on both of the polls. We've gotten a really good amount of feedback, and that's how we know we want to cover Severance. Like I think 60-something% of the feedback was Severance. So that was wonderful. So thank you so much. And we're probably going to be doing Blade Runner Black Lotus because that had, I think, over 30%. So thank you so much for those of you that were in that. And definitely continue
got some shows to watch, John.
Check that out and drop stuff in the comments as well for other alternatives. So we appreciate that. All right. Kyle.
So Noldor of Amo y Senor says, you know what would be cool? Mother ripping out grandmother's processor and replacing it with number 7s. Whoa. So
number 7 in a woman's body.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if number 7 was do we know if it was a dude or did we know if it even had a sex?
We don't know.
What, number 7?
But,
I don't think we know.
But I think the main thing is here is like the thing that Mother ripped out of number 7. She never destroyed it. She took it. Right, or at least we're led to believe so, right? So there's that whole biotechnological processor,
brain
right? Like,
thing,
what are they going to do with it?
Dark matter or dark photon. I'm sorry, right? Is that what they call it in the show?
The what?
I don't know. Never mind. Keep going.
I couldn't get past that. She just plunged her fingers inside her child's eyeball and just pulled it out. I was like,
what the veil does.
Yep. But yeah, that would be interesting. All right, let's see. So we have our next comment comes from No Diggity. One day, I hope Ridley Scott is taken to task over exactly what the F robot milk is meant to be. I can't be the only one who's lost sleep because of this over the years. So we have the weird milk in all these movies and shows. And what is it made of? And we had I think this comment had some other viewer comments on it, and they got into a conversation on this. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just assumed that it's some type of compound that it promotes growth, but I'm sure there's different types. But yeah, I have no idea what it would be.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense because in every other Ridley Scott movie with androids, they have the milk, right? They bleed the milk, and the thing is that I just think Ridley Scott is just really jazzed to like talk about the milk finally, but not talk about all of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
In Blade Runner, that's also Ridley Scott, right?
Yes.
When the robots died, did they have milk? too?
I don't. Wait
I'm
a
just
minute.
curious.
Blade
I'm-
Runner. Wait, Blade Runner. Wait a minute.
They had blood, right?
They had,
blood?
I honestly can't remember. That's why I'm asking John, the
Wow, I
expert.
should be able to remember this. Man.
Anyways,
dare I?
comment down below before Kyle searches and
I know. I'm doing it right now. Who
The
directed
girl
it?
got shot and ran through plate glass windows and
You
stuff
can't
like
remember
that.
if- it
and
was-
yet
it was a
I
dark
can't remember
scene.
what she bled. It was a dark scene.
it was a dark scene. Not like,
Yeah.
well, I guess
I
dark
think
in
it
both
was,
ways.
I think it was blood. I think it was. No, they were blood because remember,
Yep.
It was blood.
what's his name? Cut her with the razor in 2049 and she just bled out. Yeah, so it
Okay.
was blood.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No,
Question.
no, you're right, Nick. It was directed by Ridley Scott.
But
Yeah.
this
So-
this could be more aliens anyways. Next one.
That's true. All right.
All right.
So, Samra Mulugeta tells us, grandmother laughing at father's joke. That was my cringe moment. Cringy face. She was laughing so loud, and I just can't help but think she knew mother was watching. Big eyes. I mean, mother being
Big
jealous and trying to get the veil off is what caused the veil to consume her, which led to grandmother putting her in the simulation pod, right?
The joke was
shame face. Okay.
Shame face. I like how you said it as many times as we see
I
it.
should say face palm, face palm.
Face
That's-
palm,
yeah, face
face.
palm.
I like shame face. So what did cause the veil to come down?
Her
did she
emotions.
overload on emotion? I mean, did it just keep getting more and more red until it just completely? I mean, it was supposed to block emotions, not cocoon her. So that's kind of, or did grandmother program it and rig it before she put it on? I mean, like that's
Either that or
we don't need to know, obviously.
right.
But
I mean, either
Whoa, wait, hold on.
grandmother programmed it, or she actually got too emotional, and so the veil reacted and was like, "Oh, you're getting too emotional. I need to do more, and so I'm going to cocoon you."
they put on the straight jacket, like we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Straight jacket, straight veil.
That's right, John. It's a sign
Yeah.
that we care so much, right? That's what
right.
it is.
That's right.
But it's also something I think I commented on before too. That whole sequence just felt so weird and rushed. Like it's like, oh, here's the joke. Oh, something's going on there. It's like, oh my gosh, let's go in the water. Oh, my hand's changing. It's like all this information is happening at once. I'm like, was this forced upon her, this information, so she would activate? You know, I was just like, what's going on here? Is this even real? Is this like some kind of vision going on or whatever? I don't know. It just felt really awkward to me.
And a lot of people that commented on that video were mentioning the same thing too. They're like, yeah, that felt like weird. And again, we're kind of somewhat assuming that they're trying to get across a lot of information near the end of the episode, but at the same time, yeah, it was a lot of stuff. All right, let's see. Berserker, BRZ, RKR. I was hoping we were going to get a Mother Marcus team up, more since they were enemies up to this point, but I'm very interested to see what happens to Marcus. Hope his character survives, or they better develop other characters more moving forward. Yeah, you know what? I was pretty pumped when he and Mother were riding back, and they had this whole thing going. And, you know, as far as we could tell, they weren't completely going off. Mother wasn't sure if he had taken, you know, that kind of helmet thing, and we found out it wasn't him that took it, you know, it was Lucius. So as far as we can kind of tell, like, Marcus always had his own kind of thing he was going about with Paul, but at the same time, he wasn't directly trying to contradict or do things against Mother. So that may have happened. Now, I guess the big thing is we don't know if Marcus is still Marcus at this point and how far away he is, if he is.
Or if he's
Yeah.
just dead.
Yeah, and I was also curious too if that was a vision of him floating.
Really?
Like,
what?
like if Lucius, because Lucius was outside of the. Well, there's no more. You know, the voice has access to everyone now, right? And remember how when Sue first saw the leeches, it was like a physical thing, right? She was able to physically touch the leeches, and they would move them and they would go away. So it's like, did he have a weird vision,
Like
about it?
hallucinations, yeah?
About
Yeah.
it. 'Cause we don't know at this point. Anything we see, we don't know if it's
Oh my
true or
gosh.
not. Like at this point, you know. So anyway,
Nick, are you real?
Yeah.
no, I'm just on your screen.
You're a construct. Oh, that's right. You're in another state.
Oh my gosh. So Ricardo Garcia says, if the humans of Kepler can turn into a tree or devolve, what else can they be evolve into? And then a response from arguably the best name on the internet, Cookie Pam, says, yes,
Yeah,
like what will
Pam.
Marcus evolve into? So, interesting. Specifically talking
hybrid.
about Marcus. So she thinks Marcus might evolve into something, which would be
Now I
interesting.
Marcus to morph into cookies because Cookie Pam. I'm like, dang it!
No.
I want cookies now, Marcus.
There's
I
enough
did,
cookies on this planet.
An image of freshly made chocolate chip cookies did flash before my eyes.
Oh my god.
And Marcus, if I get cookies and you bleed on them, I'm gonna be very upset. All right, don't bleed on my cookies.
So we should just take a cookie break now, and we can dip it in all that milk we've been seeing.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting, man.
Oh,
That's
man.
so gross.
Let's go.
Homelander would love that. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh, he'll be warming it up with his laser.
What a twist. Crossing the universes here.
Okay.
Should we just move on from that or what? It's
Yeah,
like, I don't
that's
know
all you
how
can
we...
do. Just
Please
dismount
move
and
on.
move on. Yeah.
All right, are these all responses to this?
You just have
Yeah,
to read
this
the
is
bottom,
all
or
the-
you just have to read the top one, I think. Yeah.
All right, Lauren Arcus. Also, my mom. I love that it's not mom, it's mom. Also, my mom started listening to the podcast. Thanks for that. And they said, look out for the eggs, apparently. Didn't see one egg anywhere. Did anyone else? So that's awesome, actually, that people have been listening. I'm curious if more of you have been listening to the podcast, because something Nick and I have not picked up and started listening to.
I've
They've
only
had it since
listened to it
season one.
once.
They've had it since season 1. I'm sure there's a lot of fun supplemental information on there, but
Yeah.
I just
So they're
don't know
talking
it's all.
about the snake eggs.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I mean, are they snake eggs
or
were
bird
they just
eggs, or
yeah,
eggs
bird
in
eggs.
general.
I'm assuming.
So
I'm assuming they were just bird eggs.
So Ryan D writes, the fake ? Campion told Mother that number 7 is the future of all humanity. That statement has to play itself out, right? I kind of like the low key desperation in that, in that question. I don't know.
maybe the eggs.
Do you remember the context of Campion told Mother that number 7 is the future? Do you remember what the context was when he said that?
That was when she was in the pod before they made love, maybe, or it was around that time.
Oh,
He was-
Campion
yes,
Senior.
yes,
Campion
yes.
Senior.
That's
okay.
why the
Campion.
fake Campion, because we don't know if it really was him. We just know it was in the simulation. It could have been the entity or the other voice 1 or voice 2 that that went through the whole process of that. But
All right, Nay Foss, thank you for joining us again. Let's see, father should have asked grandmother why her body was in pieces in the cave. He was staring at all the scratches on the cave wall before Vita drew attention to him with part of grandmother's skull. Yeah, you know what? Seems like a big oversight.
Yeah.
I brought you back to life. I'm practically a vampire father, and I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm going to be polite because I'm father. I'm not going to ask you any questions. Just, yeah, you think you'd want a little bit more backstory on everything else that's going on. But
yeah, especially when he's like, we're not touching any technology on this planet. Remember, like he made that statement
that's
in the pod. He's like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna touch this, and then you see grandmother walking around like, oh, look at me, I'm here. It's like you built this. It was old technology, dude. Gosh. Anyway,
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah,
But-
that is and like she was saying, not only is grandmother somebody that could have all kinds of answers about the planet as a whole if she's really been there that long, but there's body in pieces, there's scratches on the cave wall. I mean, just where they found her, she was definitely not in good shape. Like, hey, how'd you come to rest there? Did they have that conversation on screen? And as an audience, we just don't get that. That would be fun information to have as far as world building. But again, if they gave us all of the dialogue that we wanted, this would be an endless, series, and we never get to anything. Yeah, so yeah.
It's true.
All right, you guys. So please let us know down in the comments if you have more questions than what we're discussing here, and what do you think? Like, do you have thoughts on what we've read here and what people have presented as good, valid comments and questions? Let us know. Check out the polls. Continue to kind of vote on there if you haven't already. We're going to be continuing to monitor those. Lets us know where you're consuming your content, your favorite platforms, and also what shows you'd like us to dive into next that are currently streaming. And those shows are ending pretty quickly. So if there's other shows that will be coming up after that you want us to dive into, let us know. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.